Please put your hands together right now for Nico Feimster!
How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah? Give a round of applause for everyone else who came up here tonight. Hello, my name is Nicholas Feimster. Stage name Nico Feim, but you can call me Nico. I want you to see me as someone who's just honest. I'm a full-time rapper and songwriter who uses his art to transform pain into power. Fun fact, alongside Lamar Riddick, I am the Army's first ever full-time rapper in military history. Well, more about that later. As a Maryland native, I come from a single-parent household in which consistent male leadership was not consistent in my life. After my parents separated from the age of 9 until adulthood, I always struggled with emotional discipline, low self-esteem, identity, and wondered what it meant to be a man in today's world. This caused an emotional void I carried with me subconsciously for years. Ironically, it was my father who introduced me to music during my 8th grade year. Around this time, I had a friend. His name was Jesse Canoodle. He was a skinny, nerdy white kid who was a couple years older than me and one of the most passionate hip-hop heads I'd ever met. Everybody knows a Jesse Canoodle, am I right? He came over one day and popped in a CD on my small Windows computer titled Better Days by Tupac. Immediately, the song My Block started to play. Oh my God. It immediately had an impact on me. I remember thinking, I don't know who this is, what he's been through, but I felt every word he spoke and could feel the emotion radiating from the speakers. At that moment, I said to myself, if I was ever going to do rap, I'd want to do it like that. A few years go by. I'm now a junior in high school. Rap over time became my go-to method to express myself, even if it was just to feel confident and cool in the moment. I was that kid in the back, rapping at the lunch table, banging on the desks, causing all kinds of trouble. I started to enjoy the bravado of it, and it began to become my first love because I fell in love with just how it made me feel. For once in my life, I felt confident and cool for the first time. Another good friend, Crystal Canary, who I've now known for over a decade, she knew I rapped, and she was actually the one who suggested I try to speak at this event today, so a round of applause for her. She was the first one who ever encouraged me to share my art to the world and perform at the school's very first talent show. Few people at this point knew I rapped, but over the years of her hearing me, she thought it was a good idea. Don't ask me how or why, but I remember thinking it was also a good idea. Without fully understanding the fact that I'd be in front of the entire student body doing something I'd never done before at a public event where I could be judged. Nonetheless, Crystal's belief in me was enough, so I signed up. And I prepared like my life depended on it. I was fully committed to the point where I got a few songs together and even ordered a custom outfit that matched. And it matched from head to toe in orange and blue, right, of all colors. The best part was I had a silver mic belt buckle and tucked it behind my belt like I was a cowboy or something, right? Thinking back on it now, I looked a lot like Tony the Tiger. But anyway, it's the night of the talent show, right? And I was pretty confident. I was rocking my outfit, had 3 songs prepared. I went towards the end of the show, and when they called my name, I remember looking at what I didn't realize was 100% packed auditorium with 200 plus kids in attendance. My heart was racing. I was shocked, but oddly, I started to calm myself. In the eerie silence after I was announced, I don't know what it was, but I looked into the sea of people with the bright light shining on me, and I just smiled. My heart seemed like it began to slow down as my anxiety slowly faded away into the tempo of my first song. As I began my verse, I was looking at everyone as I was rapping, and I could tell they were listening, but had no idea if they enjoyed it or not. But I think that's part of what I enjoyed. It was my time to say what I needed to say, unfiltered, and it felt amazing. Their heads followed my every line as I spit line, 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 in silence. They started to cheer. And not long after was the biggest moment of my life at the time. I went into my second song, which had a catchy hook, and I couldn't believe it. Once I began to sing it, the crowd actually sang it back at me. The euphoria of having something you created and wrote being sung to you was indescribable. I took home first place that day. And at 16, I knew who I wanted to be. From this, I learned that everyone has a story and everyone has a crystal in their life. Someone pushing you to be more than what you think you are. And even if you're confident in it or not, I believe that all of us are connected by these stories. And we owe it to the world to share those stories. I bring that work to what I do every day. Remember, I mentioned I rap for the Army. I help bring self-expression to a group of people who have historically needed it the most. We are facing a problem. And as a young man in this space, there are so many of us who struggle to find ways to deal with our complex emotions. We must understand that as men, we're allowed to feel. And we need to begin to encourage positive coping mechanisms like music, which can ultimately help you understand how you feel so you can do something about it. If we don't, we will continue to see a world in which men suppress their emotions and act out unconsciously with little to no self-awareness. As a young man who comes from a single-parent household, I understand what it's like to feel lost and angry. And I understand what it's like to feel abandoned. Join me in this fight by encouraging creative expression for young men who struggle in life. I now know that I'm not the only one, nor will I be the last. Rap music not only saved my life, but it provided for me an opportunity to do something that's never been done before in this nation's history. Confronting my demons in the music saved my life, and it helped me finally become someone I can wake up every day and be proud of. Rap showed me my problems didn't define me, and that I'm the one who decides what his life is or is not. And it taught me the best thing of all, personal responsibility. We all have the power to be who we want to be in life, and it's ultimately the person in the mirror who is your biggest obstacle. Learn to self-reflect and express yourself as often and as authentically as you can, good and bad. You do that, and I promise with 100% certainty, you'll be exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Let's just be honest. Thank you.